Welcome to Hail Varsity Radio, the voice of Husker Nation. Insight, opinion, expertise, with the biggest and best names talking Nebraska across the state. Join the show on Twitter at Hail Varsity and at Schmidt_radio. Call in at 402-466-ESPN or 1-800-825-5865. Here's Chris Schmidt.
Welcome to it. Great to be with you on a Tuesday. It's Hail Varsity Radio. We're presented by Currency for all your equipment financing needs. Go Currency. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Hope you're doing all right. Can watch the show. This is pretty cool. We are now on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, type in Hail Varsity, can watch the show there. Can also find us as we stream on ESPN Lincoln Facebook and ESPN Lincoln Twitter. Always follow the Hail Varsity Radio Twitter handle as well at HVarsity Radio. All the great stuff and live show of Coffee and Cream with Damon and Andrew in the morning. And we are on 4 to 6. Numbers to dial up here on Hail Varsity Radio, 466-3776, 466-3776, 800-825 5865. Can email the show, Chris at hailvarsity.com, and give us a follow as well on Twitter at Schmidt_radio or at Herbal Essence for Elijah Herbel. Plenty to get to today. So we'll launch in on some recruiting here, the pluses and minuses, the portal, again, taking from Nebraska, and some names to look at where Nebraska could go to maybe add in the portal. Mitch Sherman's with us in 15 minutes from The Athletic. We got to make sure we wish Mitch a happy birthday. Mitch is 39 again. Also in hour one, you have Bay City, Texas head coach Robert Jones. Robert Jones is a guy that I think has a lot of Matt Rule with him. And Bryce Turner, the speedster wide receiver and running back from Bay City, Texas, Matt Rule's first recruit, and he committed today. So we'll get caught up with Bryce's head coach, Robert Jones. In hour two, Matt Schick of ESPNU, Sirius XM, the Dr. Pepper Halftime Challenge, and all things Colorado, Dion. Schick, part of the Schick and Nick podcast with Herdat. We'll talk some college ball and prime time with Schick here at 5 o'clock. And then Fred Hoiberg, his audio as Nebraska gears up for Indiana. Pretty good day for Nebraska in some instances, and a tough day for Nebraska in other instances. This news came down about 8 this morning when it comes to Benjamin Brahmer. Brahmer, a stud tight end out of Pierce. You might remember the Pierce region with Matt Harrion back in the day, right? Well, Brahmer is as good, if not better, when you look at the records that have been broken. We're talking almost 50 career touchdowns and 3,500 yards receiving, went off in the C1 championship game. Brahmer is an exquisite talent that has been committed to Nebraska. Elijah, that is committed no more. He has been flipped to Iowa State. That's the first time Iowa State's been able to flip an in-state kid for ever, or maybe ever. But it wasn't for lack of effort, trying, or attention by Coach Rule. One of the signs you saw this weekend on social media with the travels of Matt Rule was to get to Norfolk on Saturday, and then you take the 15-minute drive on 15 north of Norfolk to get to, you have the sit down and the time spent with Brahmer and his dad, and about 2.5 hours. So you want to make yourself available for sure, and you want to hit it all way. And I think Coach Rule did that. I think there was just a window of opportunity where Matt Campbell's not stopped. Coach Campbell of Iowa State really likes what Brahmer can do, And that's where you get the flip. You had the sit-down Saturday. You have the junior day, the meet and greet session from about 1 to 4 on Sunday with 20 in-state prospects. Brahmer didn't travel there, and changing his Twitter bio. And Matt Campbell, tip of the cap to you for being dogged. And the reality is you can wow and dazzle and make someone feel at ease in 2.5 hours, but it takes days, weeks, months, and years to build a relationship. And it sounds to me like Ben says Iowa State's the best spot for me, and I wish him all the success because he's a really special talent, and he'll do well at Iowa State. Just tough for Nebraska. That's the news of this morning.
Well, and the question now becomes, can Matt Rhule return the favor to Iowa State with the guy down at Lincoln High and Benny Nagoy? That's the question. And
it is about returning said favors, isn't it?
I mean, a little bit. They want to steal your prized tight end from in-state. Well, we're going to steal your prized wide receiver / defensive back, more likely wide receiver, from right underneath your noses and return the favor right back. It's no discredit to this coaching staff that they lost a guy in Ben Brahmer. There's sometimes where you just have to put your palms up and say, we're put in a tough spot. What can you do? We gave it our all. And I really do believe that this coaching staff gave it their all trying to keep Ben Brahmer in the boat. But at the end of the day, relationships that lasted 6 months, 8 months might be more valuable than a relationship that's only lasted about a week. And there's nothing you can say to Ben about that. There's nothing you can say to the coaching staff about that. It's how it goes. If he's a guy who values relationships and he thinks he's got a better relationship with Matt Campbell and the coaching staff at Iowa State, you wish him all the best. You just turn around and say, well, you know what, Iowa State, you stole a guy from us. We're going to turn around and try to steal a guy from you. And I think that's what the task is for Matt Rhule now. It's not trying to flip Ben Brahmer back. I think at times you just have to admit that you've lost and move on to the next guy. And it comes down to like opportunity cost.
What are you spending your energy on? And to be honest, I mean, Sean Beckton had been so good at developing relationships and then showing that proof in the tight end room. It's not that Coach Satterfield can't or won't or will not put good tight ends together for Nebraska moving forward. But Beckton's had a history of success in the room. He's no longer part of the staff. That's too bad for that room, and that's too bad for Ben Brahmer. And obviously they moved on from Scott Frost. So the fourth decommitment, Malachi Coleman, O'Marion Miller, Barnes, the running back yesterday, and Brahmer. You also lost number 12 in the portal. That's Mosai Newsome, defensive lineman. He is on his way out the door. You sent me an Instagram update. What's your read here on Anthony Grant?
Well, that's interesting that you should ask that. And I did send the little update. Anthony Grant posting on an Instagram story today, which I guess it's a little funny reading this far into it. But the message he put on it was for a Florida State kid who's entered the transfer portal, and he just reposted that on his Instagram story and said, "Come to Nebraska, brother," which you wouldn't think a guy who's about to enter his name in the transfer portal would be putting that as Instagram. So as it stands right now, it would lean towards the fact that
you're reading in by saying, hey, you're getting some peer recruitment. Anthony Grant is staying put.
And you'd assume this comes on the heels of Coach Barthel having some sort of meeting with maybe Anthony Grant one-on-one, but at least the running back room as a whole. And now Anthony Grant saying, "Come to Nebraska, brother." That makes me think that Anthony Grant will be sticking around and will be having a few more seasons for Nebraska. We will see. Obviously, things can change between now and the end of the transfer portal coming up here in a couple weeks. But as it stands right now, that's where I'd put my money that Anthony Grant will be on the roster. Maybe not Nebraska starting running back next year. We'll see what kind of talent gets brought in, but he'll at least
we don't know anything about A.J. Allen yet. I know A.J. Allen was the transfer from TCU. He was close with Coach Applewhite, and he ended up dinging his shoulder and preserved the red shirt because you'd only seen him in 4 games of action.
Should be noted, Semantics was committed to TCU and ended up flipping his commitment. Was never attended TCU.
Okay, thanks. So he's not a transfer. He's just a decommit that Applewhite was able to bring with him. Another name to look at here when we talk portal, we've talked portal defections. Jaheim Bell is put his name in the portal, tight end at South Carolina. Does he find his way to Lincoln and follow his position coach and in Satterfield, the offensive coordinator? Time will tell with that. Let's spend a minute, though, here on Bryce Turner.
This is interesting.
Because this is good. And you look at Turner, and he's a 6'2", wide receiver and running back, a handful of carries. He's under 200 yards rushing, but the point is he can carry it, probably jet sweep or reverse. But the speed and track ability, and it's a dual get for Nebraska with Bryce Turner. They get a football player that can just burn 10-2 in the 100. He's right around 20 in the 200 meter. I can't I can't sneeze that fast. And then you have also attending Nebraska for track. So you're getting a ball player that is track speed, that is a football guy. And you look at who else is recruited, Bryce Turner. And this is one of those guys that Matt Rule looks at, the receiver room looks at, the OC looks at, and I know they don't have a head receivers coach, but follow me. You just see how good he is with that gift of being able to burn. And Texas football, a lot of talent down there. Eastern Washington is a place that's recruited him. You also look at some of the other offers, and didn't, at 6'2", 180, didn't grade out to be really rated at all in the 24/7 composite. And you know what? I don't care. I know we look at recruiting rankings and who else has offered the guy.
This is par for the course for Rule.
This is par when it comes to development, right? I mean, this is the development phase, and the speed is undeniable. Shy of 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. You had the Class 4A state champ in track. That's a win. That's big. So you got to kind of just trust the coach's eye and plan here, I would think, opposed to, okay, who else is recruiting the kid? Sometimes you find a dude you really like, you know what you can work with, you know what you can do, and that's good enough for you. And everyone else missed the boat because they're not as good as developing.
And there's two things I want to ask him. We're going to be talking to his coach here a little bit later this hour on 440. It's Robert Jones, head coach of Bay City High School. And we're going to be talking with him. There's two things I want to ask him. First, what position does this coaching staff want to put him at? When you hear 6'2", 180, that kind of sounds like it could be a tweener between a running back and a wide receiver. And with that speed, which I'll get to in a second, really opens up a lot of things. But you look at the high school roster of Bay City, and he's listed at 6'2", 160. So I want to figure out which number is accurate there. Whenever I hear 160, you assume that's more wide receiver weight. 6'2", 180, you could maybe put a little weight on, put him at running back. So I want to get his take. But we were talking about what Matt Rule loves to do with speed and really just athletic traits that they can go find in high schoolers, that they may not be big name high school recruits. And this is a guy that didn't have a Power 5 offer until yesterday. Got the offer, decides to commit, and now he's going to be running track and playing football at Nebraska. But what stands off the page is his speed. 10.25 was his best time last season in high school. And I did some research, Schmitty. A 10.25 100-meter dash would have put him in 17th place at the NCAA tournament final this past season.
To top 20 in the world.
Top 20 among college age kids in the world.
Well, yeah.
At 10.25. That is phenomenal. That means like this guy can step onto a track next year at Nebraska, and assuming that his body doesn't get changed too much by the football team, can realistically go compete as one of Nebraska's top 100-meter dash guys next year in the track and field. That's phenomenal for a guy in track, but now you're trying to move him over to the football field, and I'm sure there's going to be some development that needs to go on here, but this is what Matt Rule's specialty is, finding guys, especially on the track, that have an athletic gift, something that really you can't teach. And a 10.25, I don't think you can teach if you're running that as a 17-year-old.
No,
you can't teach that. And what you do is you take that gift and you use it and you develop a football player that is going to bring the most out of that gift and that speed. And we'll see what Matt Rule does with it, but that's the number one thing that stands off the page.
Well, what he has is a rarity, right? He has top 20 burning ability in the world of college / seniors in high school football. And you look at what you would think would need to be refined. It's work that Nebraska can do. How raw is his route running? How raw is his footwork? he's a guy that can dominate because he's way faster than you. And what's that top end speed? Presumably, it doesn't take him too long to giddy up by about step 2 or 3, and then he's shot out of a cannon. And it really speaks to what Coach McBride has talked about for a long time and other experts we have on, just the need for speed to go top gun on you here.
Well, can I bring up some more information here? A guy that we all remember as being one of the fastest guys in college football within the past decade is DeAnthony Thomas.
Yep.
Guy had top end speed. His best ever 100-meter dash, including his times in college, was a 10.57.
Okay. So you need that track speed to translate Willie Gault style onto the football field.
But that's what we're talking to here in terms of speed. This is not a guy that's exceptionally fast for a football field. This is a guy that's exceptionally fast for the track. 10.25. He was 0.3 of a second faster than DeAnthony Thomas's best ever time as a college kid. This is ridiculous speed we're talking about, and we'll see what kind of changes happen to his body to turn him into a football player. Maybe he loses some of that top end speed. I don't know. But right now, that is the number one selling point of this kid. Is he is not only faster than anyone that's probably currently on Nebraska's roster, he could be one of the fastest guys in the Big Ten walking onto campus next fall.
Well, and they did it at Baylor, and it worked at Baylor, taking some track kids and putting them on the football field. Mitch Sherman will join us, and then Bay City head coach Robert Jones on the way. Matt Schick, great to be with you. On a Tuesday, it's Hail Varsity, and we're presented by Currency.
If you're not already a Hail Varsity subscriber, what are you waiting for? Sign up for a Hail Varsity subscription to receive exclusive breaking news coverage of Nebraska football, volleyball, and more. Subscriptions include 10 print issues of the Hail Varsity magazine per year, the annual Hail Varsity football yearbook, plus complete access to everything on hailvarsity.com. Visit hailvarsity.com to sign up today and get your first month free.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're not already a Hail Varsity subscriber, what are you waiting for? Sign up for a Hail Varsity subscription to receive exclusive breaking news coverage of Nebraska football, volleyball, and more. Subscriptions include 10 print issues of the Hail Varsity magazine per year, the annual Hail Varsity football yearbook, plus complete access to everything on hailvarsity.com. Visit hailvarsity.com to sign up today and get your first month free.
The holidays are here, and it's time to celebrate at Hail Varsity Club. Whether you're looking for an intimate business lunch or a 100-person holiday party, Hail Varsity Club offers an elevated experience with food and drink packages sure to please any crowd. There are only a few premium dates left in December. Visit hailvarsityclub.com to learn more about the private events and book yours now.
Could you please pass the potatoes?
Uncle Bob, why are you singing?
With all the rewards we are getting, with the Navy Federal Credit Union's cash rewards card, I hired a singing coach for caroling.
But it's summer.
Since we get up to 1.75% cash back on all our holiday purchases, there is cheer to last all year.
Please stop.
These potatoes are delicious, by the way.
Get cheer to last all year with Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for spending time. Hail Varsity Radio, presented by Currency, Tuesday edition. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, and I don't know if he's got the ice cream cake going or if he's a chocolate cake guy, but he's 39 again. We welcome in Mitch Sherman from The Athletic, at Mitch Sherman on Twitter. Mitch, happy birthday, dude.
Well, thank you. It's nice of you to notice. I'm actually 36 because that's why are you laughing?
No,
because that's how old I was on the day that my son was born. So we share a birthday, and I no longer celebrate them after 36. So perpetually 36. And I won't tell you, well, he's in sixth grade because I don't care because I'm 36.
Yeah, sure. No, good work. I'm gonna stay the old Hank Aaron forever. I think, right? 44 is where I'm at, and we're not moving up. We're not moving up any further. We're just gonna stay. I like what you're saying. We don't celebrate after a certain number. The Matt Rule World Tour, or I should say the Nebraska State Tour, saw him get about everywhere and spend a lot of quality time. I want your reaction to Ben Brahmer flipping to Iowa State.
Yeah, I was surprised to wake up this morning and get that news. And it was before 7 a.m. when he made the call over there. I believe it happened this morning. I talked briefly on DM to Ben this morning and had talked to his dad, Mark, for quite a while yesterday. And it was a intriguing conversation because I think, Mark Bramer, the coach at Pierce, and the middle school principal there, is somebody who's been in coaching for a long time in the state of Nebraska. And, he makes he doesn't try to hide the fact that he still has a lot of strong feelings in a positive way for Scott Frost and the job that Scott did to create opportunities for Nebraska high school athletes. And I think there's a sense oftentimes when there's a coaching change that if you like the previous coach, you don't like the new coach or vice versa. And in hearing about the meetings, I guess you could say, that Bramer, both Ben and Mark, had with Matt Rule and Marcus Satterfield on Saturday when they flew up to Norfolk and then drove over to Pierce, they did like the new coaches. And, this is a guy who is entrenched in small town Nebraska coaching and education, meeting a coach who is from New York and has coached in Philadelphia and just came from the NFL and is about to get paid $9 million a year. There was a reason for those two probably not to see eye to eye, and they did because of the personal skills that Matt Rule has. And even that was not enough to persuade Ben from waking up this morning or deciding yesterday that he was going to go with Iowa State, which had built a great deal of trust with him through Matt Campbell and the assistant coaches on that staff, Mouser, the tight end coach, Nathan Shielhaus, the new offensive coordinator who was promoted. Nebraska could not overcome that despite the good vibes that the Bramer family got from Matt Rule and Marcus Satterfield.
Mitch, it might not be a perfect analogy, but how I'm reading this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, is it's almost like, the ex-girlfriend that got a new boyfriend, and you meet the new boyfriend, you realize he's kind of cool and you kind of like him, but you want to act like you don't because, he's dating your ex. Is it a similar story to that where you're assuming you're not going to like the new staff? It's like the ex-girlfriend dating the new guy, and then you meet him and you go, well, I can't actually overtly say I like you, even though deep down I think you're a pretty cool guy.
Well, I think they did say that they like Rule, and it didn't pay off as far as getting Ben to come end up at school at Nebraska. You never know. I mean, you never know with these things. There's great players, and I say great high school players who I think have the potential to be very, very good college players who are leaving the state of Nebraska and are going to be signing with other Midwestern programs, Big 12 programs, and Zane Flores at Gretna, the quarterback, and Bramer, the tight end from Pierce. And then you have Cade McIntyre from Fremont signing with Oklahoma. Nebraska's not going to win it this time around, but you see what's going on in college football this week, and there's a huge number of players every December that are going to go into the transfer portal, and I hope it works out. And I think everybody hopes it works out for those guys at the schools that they're going to. But there is tremendous benefit for Matt Rule and his coaches to create these relationships, whatever opportunities they get, to create relationships around the state of Nebraska, so that if something does come up where it doesn't work out, and I'm not saying it won't work out for Bramer or for Flores or for McIntyre, but somebody somewhere in Nebraska is going to reap the rewards of having a head coach who is prioritizing, an outsider who is prioritizing the state of Nebraska. You see that. I don't believe Matt Rule has left the state of Nebraska yet. Some of his assistant coaches are on the road, out of state, and he's going to soon enough, and he needs to, because he's got to get players from all over the place. But he's made it clear in this first week and a couple of days where he needs to start and what the foundation needs to be. And I think that's going to go a long way with helping form those relationships. You're already seeing the work that he does and the way that he does it, and why he won over Texas high school coaches so quickly the way that he did when he got to Baylor a few years ago.
Mitch Sherman with us, Hail Varsity Radio. You can find Mitch with The Athletic at Mitch Sherman on Twitter. I got a kick out of the posting with Maverick Noonan's mother. You have the ping pong match 24 hours earlier. It's Western Nebraska. He's sitting down at a brewery, pouring one with the Nebraska fans and Western Nebraska. He just gets it, and his communication skills are, by all accounts, are fantastic. So folks want to engage with him as we fast forward here, Mitch. What's your feel right now with some key retention, keeping guys like a Grant, like a Casey Thompson, part of the offensive line that does have experience? Do you worry about some bigger name defections in the portal aside from a Houseman that's already at least put his name in there?
Yeah, and I think he's gone. I don't think there's a chance that he's testing the waters and you end up getting him back. Now, I mean, you never say never, and Nebraska doesn't have a defensive coordinator or a linebackers coach. But I get the feeling that and a school that's going after him hard is Iowa. And it's easy to see what Iowa does with its linebackers and what Jack Campbell did this year and the way that they play defense. So, not saying he's going to go to Iowa, but I know Iowa has prioritized him as a target. So we'll see where that goes. That would be doubly painful for Nebraska if Ernest Houseman, the most promising young defensive player in the program, not only leaves, an in-state kid, but leaves and ends up at another Big Ten school like Iowa. So look, this kind of stuff is going to happen with the coaching change. You're going to have some pain at the beginning where you lose some recruits, and we've seen that. And he'll have a chance to get some of those guys back. He has a chance with Malachi Coleman to get him back. And you're going to have players leave that you don't want to leave. You absolutely don't want Ernest Houseman to leave the program. And there will be others, I think, between now and January when you got to enroll at another school. There's plenty of time still for guys to go in the portal, but he's got to do what he can and kind of weather this storm. And then the news will start to turn more positive as things flip and you hear more about players who are coming into the program as transfers and recruits that Nebraska is adding. The first recruit added today, a way under the radar kid out of Texas, out of East Texas, Bryce Turner, who runs a 10.3, 10.25 wind aided 100-meter dash at the Texas State meet last year. He's fast and he's raw as a football player. And that is the kind of player that Matt Rule and his staff at Baylor thrived at getting and developing. They're looking for that kind of athleticism, that kind of speed. It's why you saw Nebraska offer Jalen Lloyd, the speedster from Omaha West Side and son of former Nebraska national champion or All-American jumper Dahlia Ingram, in the first hours that it was before his introduction as coach on Monday. It went out over the weekend to Jalen Lloyd because he's the exact kind of player that they're looking for, and that's the kind of player that they got from Texas today. So as we get through December and into January, there's going to be more news like that with bigger names and guys who are ready to contribute right away. But right now, you're kind of in the thick of things where between the coaching change and the transfer portal and the way that things work in college football right now, Nebraska's going to have to weather some blows, and they already are.
Mitch Sherman's with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. And Mitch, I think that, like with the names we've seen in the transfer portal so far this week, I've been a little surprised with how few it's been. And really, Ernest Hausman's the main guy who's been a key contributor for this team. But something we talked about when Matt Rule was introduced was the fact that we could see another spring exodus once some of these guys start getting in here, which I think is something you're alluding to. But should Husker fans be prepared for the eventuality that it might be a little bit tougher post-spring football with some of the names you might see going into the portal?
You need to see that. There's about 67 or 68 guys on scholarship right now, which leaves Nebraska with the opportunity to add 17 or 18 newcomers. And Nebraska needs to add probably twice that number of newcomers between transfers and freshmen. It's got to be around 30. I think that's a fair number. If it's less than that, then you're going to be deficient at positions all over the field. Right now, Nebraska has more defensive backs in the program than it does offensive linemen and interior defensive linemen together. The balance of the roster, it's out of balance. So you can't get it back in balance with going into the summer without having more guys leave. And some of it is just going to be a natural kind of progression. I believe there are 10 juniors, soon to be seniors in the program who would be going into their 6th year. And I'm talking about guys like Casey Thompson and Anthony Grant and Braxton Clark. And, there are 10 of them. Some of those guys aren't going to stick around. So that's going to bring your numbers down a little bit. And every number that you bring down is an opportunity to bring in a freshman or a transfer or a junior college player. And that's how they're going to get better. And that's how they're going to fix the inadequacy that's on the roster right now. So yes, Elijah, you're seeing it right now. You've seen 9 guys go into the portal in the last week. You're going to see more, I would think, as December goes along. And then there will be another round after spring ball.
Mitch Sherman with us, celebrating birthday number 36. Follow him on Twitter at Mitch Sherman. Read him with The Athletic. Mitch, enjoy your day. Thanks for the update and giving us time, as always, man. Appreciate you.
Yep, good to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
There he is, Mitch Sherman with us. Good to spend time. Good insight there on the portal, recruiting, transfer, the first week of Matt Rule. On the way, Coach Robert Jones with us from Bay City, Texas.
Connect to this radio station from all across the country. Take us to the gym, shopping. How about a road trip? Listen to us now on the free iHeartRadio app. You'll never miss a moment with your favorite radio station. Download the free iHeartRadio app and search for this station so we can go wherever you want us to.
Running on empty? Don't let aging drain your body. Limitless Male can help you recharge safely under medical care. As you age, your body produces less testosterone, which can cause one or more symptoms: trouble sleeping, no energy, loss of muscle mass, poor concentration, belly fat, low sex drive, depression. Limitless Male can eliminate these symptoms with testosterone replacement therapy and re-energize your life. Schedule a free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Good afternoon from the 1011 Newsroom. I'm Cole Miller. Coming up, launching a legal fund, the effort behind one group of Nebraskans hoping to fight defamation. Plus, looking to trade in the governor's mansion for Capitol Hill. Pete Ricketts tosses his name into the soon-to-be Senate vacancy. And we continue exploring our town, York, with a trip to campus. These stories and more tonight.
May I have your attention, please? I am so delighted that we are gathering to celebrate.
The Lincoln Wedding and Celebrations Show is back January 8th at the Embassy Suites downtown. Admission is free when you register online by January 6th. Visit with vendors including sweet and spicy creations and enjoy a style show featuring Ellen Bridal, complete weddings and events, and Studio SPS.
The Lincoln Wedding and Celebration Show, Sunday, January 8th. Get your free tickets now at espnlincoln.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for spending time with you on a Tuesday. It's Hail Varsity, presented by Currency. Good stuff from the Athletics. Mitch Sherman, Matt Schick of ESPN, you, and Sirius XM next hour. We welcome in head coach for Bay City, Texas, Robert Jones, football and track. Coach Jones, thanks for a few minutes with Hail Varsity. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, you guys, for having me.
Well, appreciate your time. Let's find out some more about Nebraska and Coach Rule's first commit, Bryce Turner. And Coach Jones, tell us about Bryce, kind of his mentality and what makes him special when it comes to using that speed on the field.
Well, first off, I just want to congratulate Bryce. Nationally, let him know we're proud of him, and that's a big thing for him. And the kid, Bryce, he's a stand-up kid. He's a hard worker. He's a guy that you can count on. He's going to show up every day and go to work. You know, and he's blessed with God-given speed, and you can't coach that. And, it was a blessing to have him on my team the last 2 years. And then this third year, going into the third year, it was a blessing to have him. He had a breakout year, and he had made some big plays for us. And, he's a playmaker. Everybody looked at him as a track kid, but I know he can get out there on that football field and make plays, and he showed it this past season.
Real quick, Coach, and you've probably had kids play football that are track guys, but is Bryce a guy that's a track guy that is more of a football player? Do you get what I'm asking? Does he have that tenacity on the gridiron?
Yeah, absolutely. He got that tenacity. When he first came back to Bay City, because he had moved off, because he went through elementary through Bay City ISD, then he moved off to Lockhart, like in the Austin area, and then he came back his sophomore year. So that was my first time introducing myself to him. Me and his mom went to school together. So when we was in high school back in the day, in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I kind of knew the family, they brought him back to Bay City, and I've been working with him for the last 2 to 3 years. And, and he got that tenacity. He's in his mindset, he's a football player. I know a lot of guys think just because of speed, he's a track guy, but that kid loves football. He's not scared to go to work. He's ready to strap it on and go out there and make plays. He's very physical. He's got the physical attributes that you need to play at the D1 level. And I'm glad that he got that opportunity. Nebraska had an opportunity to go out there and show what he could do.
With 10.25 speed, that's world class for a kid of his age. You would think that that's a guy who would be, a track kid at heart, but you're saying that it's always been his dream to be a football guy?
Yeah, his dream always been to go play college football. He had all the opportunities in the world to go play track, but me and him, we just been keeping our fingers crossed that he'll get that chance to go to the next level and play college football. And then it so happened that, they're going to give him a chance to run track also with that speed he got. It's like you said, it's world class. People been knocking down the doors trying to get him to come run track, but he wants to play football. So I just told him he's going to put our trust in God and just see what happens. And then today it happened, and that's a blessing. And we want to thank God for that also.
You mentioned the fact that you and his mom go way back. Does he get that speed from his mom?
Yeah, his family, he comes from a very athletic family on his mom's side. His aunt, I went to school with his aunt. His mom was younger than me, but his aunt graduated in my class, so we was very close, and I've been knowing that family for a long time. They was very athletic coming through school, so he get that speed from that side if I was a bet on it.
Coach Robert Jones, Bay City, Texas, with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Bryce Turner, Nebraska, and Coach Rule's first commit, speedster, 6'2", 180 from Bay City. What is it about Coach Rule, and you've been around the state a while, his ability to connect in Texas, Nebraska and Texas, not that foreign, but when Rule got to Baylor, he really hit it off with a number of the high school coaches in Texas. What is it about Coach Rule and his ability to produce in the state of Texas?
Well, from what I know, going to the Texas High School Coaches Association, big clinic that they have down here in Texas, it's a big thing. And those college coaches, they get up there and they talk to all the high school coaches, and they got an open door policy. Anytime that we need anything from those guys, they better give it to us. If we got video, they want to come in and watch a practice, want to sit in on meetings. Those guys got an open door policy, and I think Coach Rule did a great job of that when he was at Baylor. I mean, and you know what I'm saying? That helped a lot for the high school coaches to try to learn and go down there, go to their clinics, you know, learn the ins and outs, learn the little details and all the drills that they do. And they got everything at the drop of a dime. They'll get it to you. So hats off to those guys at the college level, especially Coach Rule, because he did a great job at Baylor when he was there.
Tell me about Coach Rule on offense and just his philosophy when it comes to using speed like Bryce on offense.
Well, he was big one. I mean, I'm just picking off what I know when he was at Baylor. He went and got some of the fastest kids in the state of Texas and put him on that roster. And you see how that exploded into one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. And I think that's hats off to those guys going out looking for the guys. They're just not looking at the five-star athletes. You know, sometimes it could be deceiving just going out getting five-star athletes besides looking at the film and getting the guys, because numbers don't lie. When you got speed, you can't coach speed. But all the other stuff, the little ins and outs, you know what I'm saying, the small detail stuff, those guys at the college, that's what they're paid for, and that's what they're good at. So getting a guy like with the size and the speed that this kid got, it's unmatched. And, you know, you can't find that too many places, and I'm glad they gave him a chance. I promise you, they'll go down there and make the Cornhuskers proud.
Well, you mentioned Coach Rule using the fastest kids in Texas, recruiting them and using them at Baylor, but you have the fastest kid in Texas on your roster in Bryce. What was that like for you this past summer and even the summer before that, trying to game plan during the offseason, knowing you got a kid like that?
Yeah, it was great. We had did 7-on-7 all summer, so we got a good grasp of what we was doing. Him and the quarterback got some chemistry together. And with the young quarterback that we had, he was only a sophomore. So I wish Bryce had another year, but that's wishful thinking. But, you know, he had a great year with the young quarterback, and, you know, they got a good connection in the summertime. Like I said, we qualified to the state tournament in 7-on-7, then come in this year and to make the playoffs for the first time since 2018, and to win 8 games for the first time since 2005 was a big thing. So those guys, he was a big part of the turnaround that we had in Bay City. So hopefully we turn the page and we're going to go to bigger and better things.
Coach Robert Jones with us, head football coach, head track coach at Bay City. Coach, as we end it, and it's been a pleasure to meet you and talk about Bryce with you. Tell me about your football program, what type of culture you want to instill in the young men you get to coach and lead.
Well, I tell the kids all the time, student athlete is for a reason. You got to be that student first. You don't get these type of opportunities if you don't take care of your stuff in the classroom. And when you take care of your stuff in the classroom, your athletic ability will take care of itself. You know, and then we just got to be high character guys. We got to be dependable guys, respectful guys. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And do what's right. And when you are a student athlete and you're trying to do what's right, you're going to be different from the other people. So we try to be different and be the role models on campus and lead by example.
Coach, last thought. I know I just said that, but last thought. What is it? What's the mystique about Texas and the football down in Texas? What makes it so great?
Well, if I was from my opinion, I think just the support that we get from the community.
Okay.
So we're a small town in Bay City. It's 18,000 people, but when a Friday night comes, everything shuts down. And, you know, the support we get from the community, the school board members, everybody, it's just different. Yeah, I mean, you gotta come down here and see it to understand what I'm saying with the facilities that we got, the money that's pumping into the school system, and it's big time. And the kids love it. And in Texas, football is basically the Bible, if you want to put it in short terms.
Sure. So with that kind of support, are there 18,000 new Husker fans down in the heart of Texas?
Oh, it's a lot.
Coach Robert Jones with us, Bay City High football coach, track coach. Bryce Turner headed to Lincoln. Coach, best to you. Have a good rest of the week. Thanks for a few minutes today.
Thank you, sir.
There he goes, Coach Robert Jones with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. Good intel on his talented athlete, his football guy, and yes, his track guy, but it's football first for Bryce Turner. We'll get that interview posted up on the podcast with Hail Varsity Radio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and of course the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. We're streaming live on Hail Varsity YouTube. A quick time out. We'll wind down our One Hail Varsity presented by Currency.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun,
They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Sparkly and shiny and bold and bright. And this holiday season, Ulta Beauty has something for everyone on your list, even you. Because our kind of holiday is you having your kind of holiday with incredible must-haves like the Dyson hairdryer and a new limited edition blue, shimmery palettes from Morphe and Tarte, plus fragrances from Ariana Grande and more. So revel in that holiday bliss. Head to your local Ulta Beauty or buy online and pick up in store. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hello, neighbor. It is Animal, 4 Super C convenience stores where they feature Township 9 coffee, named for the township charter territory we now know as Lincoln, Nebraska. With a Super C punch card, I buy 5 coffees or fountain drinks and I get the 6th one free. And you can too. Start your day with a hot mug of Township 9 coffee. Choose your favorite flavor from Hazelnut Hill to Twisted Creek, or sample the seasonal blends. Get up and get your morning started right at any of the Super C 10 locations, where they're always happy to see you in the mornings.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 233 South 13th Street, Suite 1100, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508. Online at CordellCordell.com.
I'm weatherology meteorologist Ray Miller with your Capital City forecast. Clear tonight, 24 for the low temperature. Wednesday, sunny, high at 47. Thursday, areas of freezing rain changing over to rain with a high at 40. That's the forecast on Lincoln's ESPN. Right now, it's 43.
Get your sports picks here. ESPN Lincoln is on the air at 101.5 FM at 1480 AM. Online at ESPNLincoln.com. Chime in 402-466-ESPN or email the show, Chris@HailVarsity.com.
Just try me. Try me.
Back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Winding down hour one, Hail Varsity Radio. Some thoughts from Fred Hoiberg. Coming up here a little less than an hour. It's Nebraska gears up for Indiana from top 10 to more top 10. Purdue looms on Saturday as well. We'll get to some of your emails coming up. Can email the show, Chris@HailVarsity.com. Anxious to hear from Matt Schick, not only with his great work with ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Schick and Nick podcast, but he's a proud Colorado Buffalo.
Oh, that's where you were going.
Uh-huh.
Here I was thinking you were going to go for the Dr. Pepper halftime.
Well, that's really cool. That's awesome. He owns it. He's been doing it for years. But, I mean, he's all about Prime. And he's a guy that's got to spend time with, actually, Coach Prime's got to spend time with him over his career. Yeah, twisted around a little bit. So I'm sure Schick is still grinning. We are going to try. We are loading up this Sherman tank that Mike Babcock has rented for our trip to Boulder. I mean, you got Jay Moore, the muscle. You got Babbers. It's like he's D-Day in Animal House. He's probably got the Army helmet on. You and I guarding the cooler. And if we drag Schick with us, or at least pick him up from the airport, man, the possibilities are endless for September 9th.
Well, see, I'm wondering here if we can try to work a sponsorship with Offutt Air Force Base to get like an armored flight into Boulder. We can land at the airport and see, hey, if Offutt needs some sponsorship,
you don't want to drive, is what you're telling me. You don't want to pull off the 6P to the 2 a.m. drive. Like me and Robert did.
I am perfectly fine with that.
Me and Roberto.
Well, do you not remember my day trip to Denver over the summer where we woke up like at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning and drove all the way to Denver, caught a Rockies game, caught a Nuggets game, and then drove home that night, and I was still back in time for the show on Monday?
Yeah, you did pull that, and you weren't happy about it.
But if it's in my past, I can pull it off again. I wouldn't like to make it a habit, but I can do it.
I think what we do is we just praying there's no rail strike. I think we just take the train. Because we should be able to take the train to Lodo and then go from Lodo to Boulder. I would think there's transportation.
I got family in Colorado that I'm not saying I could rent a car from them, but I could rent a car or get a free ride.
We had an incredible time in 2019, aside from the game in the finish. But we were set up at, it was a giant tailgate with our friends from Blur. And we were out there doing shows. Cranak's got a friend who owns his own distillery. That shocks nobody. Not dispensary, distillery. And we were doing a show Friday at the distillery in South Denver, which was just phenomenal. Oh, that was incredible.
I think I was producing that show.
I know you were. We were having all sorts of whiskey, and it was wonderful. All sorts of whiskey. It was good. We behaved. And then it was, it's all over it, man. Great ball game. I don't know if that's going to be big noon kickoff. It'd be a lot of fun if it's a night game in Boulder, because it's been a long time since you rock and rolled, and preferably a night game without snowballs being chucked, because that tends to happen in Colorado.
I think we're going to be fine at the beginning of September.
No, I know.
Could be wrong.
No, I'm saying
you never know about that Colorado weather.
You don't need a night game with snow available to the Buff fan base. We'll hear from Matt Schick, Coach Prime, some Nebraska college football thoughts. Hail Varsity continues, and we're presented by Currency.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GAS11. For an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code GAS11. Use code GAS11 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
From the John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Studios, this is KLMS Lincoln, the capital city's Husker authority.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Two big NFL stories from ESPN's Adam Schefter. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo does not need surgery on his broken foot. If rehab goes well, he could return in 7 to 8 weeks. The Rams claimed quarterback Baker Mayfield on waivers a day after he was released by Carolina. He could play Thursday night against the Raiders. This move was made with an eye on the future for both sides, says ESPN's Ryan Clark.
The new Matthew Stafford is aging. He's a guy that's been banged up. You get Baker Mayfield in the building. To me, this is a tryout. Are you a fit for us on the field? Can you be a fit for us in the locker room? And now he goes into next year because he's going to be a backup, backing up a Matthew Stafford. And now if you go and play, you have a #1 overall talent.
ESPN's Ed Werder's reporting the Cowboys have concerns after free agent receiver Odell Beckham Jr.'s physical that his recovery from a torn ACL has not progressed to make sure that he'd play before mid-January. The Titans fired GM John Robinson 2 days after they were routed by Philadelphia. A game in which receiver A.J. Brown, traded to the Eagles by the Titans this offseason, had 2 touchdowns. Round of 16 World Cup, Portugal defeated Switzerland 6-1 to move on.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
If you're not already a Hail Varsity subscriber, what are you waiting for? Sign up for a Hail Varsity subscription to receive exclusive breaking news coverage of Nebraska football, volleyball, and more. Subscriptions include 10 print issues of the Hail Varsity magazine per year, the annual Hail Varsity football yearbook, plus complete access to everything on HailVarsity.com. Visit HailVarsity.com to sign up today and get your first month free.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy. Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're not already a Hail Varsity subscriber, what are you waiting for? Sign up for a Hail Varsity subscription to receive exclusive breaking news coverage of Nebraska football, volleyball, and more. Subscriptions include 10 print issues of the Hail Varsity magazine per year, the annual Hail Varsity football yearbook, plus complete access to everything on HailVarsity.com. Visit HailVarsity.com to sign up today and get your first month free.
The holidays are here and it's time to celebrate at Hail Varsity Club. Whether you're looking for an intimate business lunch or a 100-person holiday party, Hail Varsity Club offers an elevated experience with food and drink packages sure to please any crowd. There are only a few premium dates left in December. Visit HailVarsityClub.com to learn more about the private events and book yours now.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom with People's City Mission. We're Lincoln's homeless shelter, and this winter, the mission expects to house and feed over 80% of the city's homeless. Because when the weather gets cold out there, here's where people come to. But in this current economy, providing them with a warm bed and a hot meal, it's getting a lot harder to do. And we really need your help. So I'm asking you to please remember the homeless during this holiday season. Your support will really make a difference. Thanks so much, and God bless you.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. You know, the fries covered in bold Mexican spices you dip in a warm nacho cheese sauce. You could also dunk them in nacho cheese sauce or pour the sauce onto a pile of them and create like a nacho fries nachos. The thing is that you eat them with nacho cheese sauce. That's what makes them nacho fries. Otherwise, you're just eating fries and sipping on nacho cheese sauce, and that's the wrong way. Sorry, just really passionate about nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation which vary.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for $149, all on a reliable 5G network. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 1 month equals 30 days. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Lofi's Holiday Sweepstakes is back. The bakers of Country Hearth would like to put a little more jingle in your holiday this season by giving you a chance to win one of two $500 prizes or the grand prize of $1,000. Winners will each receive a check that can be used for travel, gifts, or just celebrating with family and friends, whatever makes their holiday more jolly. For complete rules and to enter for your chance to win, visit countryhearthbreads.com/sweeps.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Welcome to Hail Varsity Radio, the voice of Husker Nation. Insight, opinion, expertise, with the biggest and best names talking Nebraska across the state. Join the show on Twitter at Hail Varsity and at Schmidt_radio. Call in at 402-466-ESPN or 1-800-825-5865. Here's Chris Schmidt.
Back into it. It's hour two. It's Hail Varsity Radio, presented by Currency for all your equipment, finance, and needs. Go Currency. We welcome in Matt Schick with ESPNU, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM. Proud Colorado graduate. Mr. Schick, how we doing?
Well, that's the only time, maybe in the last 20 years, that I've asked anyone to refer to me as proud Colorado graduate. You know, those words haven't gone together very often over the last 20 years, Schmitty. So, yeah, you know, you could have said ESPN, and you did, but, you know, if you would have just said proud Colorado graduate, it would have been fine. It's been a good week.
Well, Schmitty, you missed a big part of the intro here, and that's noted Dr. Pepper halftime show host.
Well, Schick and Nick host. And,
I didn't want to say anything. You know, the Dr. Pepper stuff. That's totally, you know, there's too many bona fides to have to list. You know, as a soda drink tuition giveaway is probably near the top.
Well, I was catching up on the Schick and Nick podcast, and you fellas, you and Nick, man, you have a party. And if you don't subscribe, it's awesome. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Herd Ad Media, Schick and Nick Show at ESPN_Schick. But so I picture you, we're not doing the video stream right now. I picture you wearing, you're probably going with the gold Colorado hoodie right now. And true or false, you own lots of Louis Vuitton.
Well, I got a lot of luggage, and it's Louis.
Prime, given the mother of all speeches.
I mean, my goodness. First of all, not wearing the hoodie because I took it off. I was celebrating, so shirtless. And the Louis part is just so good. Like, count the number of coaches who could go into a room and say, I'm bringing my luggage with me, and it's Louis, in reference to the transfers that he's going to bring to replace the kids that are sitting 2 feet in front of him. And, I think you can count on one finger, and it's prime time. I mean, it's just he can do whatever he wants, and, of course, he hasn't lost any games yet, hasn't coached any there. But he's going to win the offseason every year, I'll tell you that much.
Well, give me your thoughts here, because I don't know if you know him. He's shared the stage with you multiple times, correct?
Yes, he has. I have lent him my stage multiple times. People have been there to see me. I'm like, hey, by the way, here's this guy Dion. Don't know if you know him. I'll let him steal 5 minutes of my limelight. Yeah, I've just worked with him in a professional capacity, maybe 4 or 5 separate times down at the Under Armour All-America Week. He's popped onto the set to film a couple of promos that we've had to do. And so we've gotten along fine. It's not like he's a friend of mine or anything. I don't want to overstate it, although he will be getting a Christmas card now. But when I have we do something called the Under Armour All-America game. We do the jersey presentation, and it's a dinner. It's not a dinner. It's a get-together in a huge auditorium. There's hundreds of family members, parents, aunts, uncles of these players, and there's 90-plus players that have been selected to play in this game. And the night before the game, they do this ceremony. And so I'll get up there and I'll MC, I'll crack a few jokes, and they all land, obviously. But I get up there and I say a few things, and then I'll introduce a panel, and then in the past, maybe an Ed Reed, a Ryan Clark, a Deion gets up there. And as we're talking and we're having conversations, Deion starts to speak, and immediately there's call and response from the audience. Like he says a sentence, and you can hear the verbal affirmation from the crowd. And I've never experienced anything like it. Like, I'm sitting 4 feet away from him going, oh, my goodness, this is – and it's genuine. He flips a switch. There's no doubt about it. He's not like this all the time. You can't and have you'd have a heart condition if you were like that all the time. But he is as captivating a speaker as you will find. Now, what does that mean? Can he coach? Well, if you can captivate an audience of 500 people, like I've seen him do, can you captivate a living room with Billy and his parents? Mm-hmm. My guess is you probably can. And then it's a matter of, are you hiring the right coordinators? Are you doing this, doing that? So, but I think the first thing to do is be able to recruit, and he's recruiting good coaches. We're seeing that right now. Willie Taggart looks like he's going to join on. Tim Brewster looks like he's going to join on. Maybe even Mike Zimmer has been rumored as a guy who might come on, the former head coach of the Vikings. So he draws a crowd, and we'll see if he draws a good team.
Matt, what do you make of his exit from Jackson State? There's been a lot of talk about that in recent days, just with how he did it, going down to Jackson State, saying he wants to change the culture around HBCUs, and now he's going off taking another job. Do you fault Deion for that, or do you think there is something to the people that criticize him for leaving Jackson State in the way he did?
Well, I don't think anyone can do anything in this day and age without being criticized. So let's be honest about the situation. If a team if he interviewed and did not get a job, those places would be criticized for not hiring Deion. Colorado takes a coach who, by the way, it's the third consecutive African-American head coach that they've hired as head coach, and Deion referenced that in his introductory thing. So Colorado certainly gets credit for that, as they should. It's a really good and powerful statement that they're making. And then for Deion, I get hey, I came to, rebuild HBCUs and do great for HBCUs. He coached 3 seasons there, 2 years. I don't know what the long-term plan was. I know Bomani Jones has said, hey, you pretended like you'd be there for 10 years and you were out there after 2. Well, I mean, it doesn't – just because he's not there doesn't mean he's not going to still, be a central figure there. I'd be very surprised and disappointed if he just left them in the lurch. But at the same point, he created so many opportunities for people there and brought a voice to a lot of voiceless people there that it was a pretty powerful play that he did there. I just don't know what the expectation was. So I can't, does he deserve to be criticized? I mean, did he go back on a promise that he made? Did he say, I'm going to be here long term, and if I'm not, then that's going back on my word? I don't really know, but to label him a sellout, I think is Deion can't win. No one can win. It's just people are just always looking to criticize. I would hope that Colorado has said, hey, we'd like to help out Jackson State in any way that we can. And I hope that they do, because I think the work that he's doing there is important. So I can get some of the criticism, but I also think some of it's a little over the top.
Matt Schick with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. It's not like Deion was fishing for work. I mean, he was doing his thing, and 3 to 4 to 5 programs said, A, this guy's winning down there. B, think what he could do on a larger stage, and to your point, the living room. And he's old school, man. He's kind of Old Testament with how he built his football program. So He's going to coach you. He's going to love you, but he's also going to be extremely demanding. Case in point, that first team meeting where guys are taking their hats off and taking their earrings out. So,
well, it was funny that he made that speech while wearing a hat.
No,
You know?
He should have worn a big hat. Is what he should have been doing.
He should have worn. I don't want any hats in here. And then he's got the biggest hat in Western civilization. Would have been good. Yeah, he's. You know what helps is that, like, you're getting the balance of Prime with the swagger, with the he's the most important person in any room he walks into. He's the biggest person, the most famous person, but he's also a dad. He's also got college age kids. So I mean, having kids really forces a little maturity out of you. And this is not your dad's Prime. This is not your grandfather's Deion Sanders. He's different. Now, I will say that one of the hesitancies to hiring Prime was that I do wonder how manageable it will be. Like, it's almost like you're going to have to just let him go. You're going to have to let him do his thing. He does things at 100 miles an hour. He wants things done a certain way, and he's probably not going to take no for an answer. And so, Rick George, I would have loved to have been Rick George during the hiring process. I would have loved to have been the AD, Rick George at Colorado, the day it was announced. I'm not sure I want to be Rick George moving forward. And maybe after a win, yes. But there's going to be a lot of, hey, Deion, or hey, Coach Prime, I'm sorry, we can't. This transfer that you want doesn't qualify. Like, we have strict. Like, whoa, are you sure this is what we want to do here? I mean, are you sure you don't want to loosen some of these restrictions here at Colorado and allow these credits to transfer a little bit easier? Those are the kind of things that Colorado's taken a knock on before, because I don't think they're all pulling in the same direction in the past. Hopefully, this is the start of that. Because if you're not with him, you're against him, and I don't think you want to be against Deion.
Matt Schick's with us, ESPNU, of course, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Schick and Nick Show, at Schick and Nick on Twitter, and at ESPN_Schick is where you can follow him. So we have the roadie already planned. We're going back to Boulder. We were there in 2019 for the mother of all meltdowns and then the overtime loss. We did live shows before and after. Mike Babcock, because he's been to Boulder a lot, has rented a Sherman tank, so we'll be safe. Babbers is driving. Elijah and I are in the back. Jay Moore's our muscle. Are you in? Are you riding with us?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, Mike should just have his old beat-up Pinto and just drive that out there. Just drive something that you don't worry if it doesn't come back. That's really what you have to do. Always bring spare tires with someone who knows how to change one. That's always good advice. I would certainly be in. I'm trying to lay the groundwork for our College Game Day ESPN radio show to go live from there. If I can somehow guarantee some sort of sit down with Prime or something, I might have to massage it. I don't know if Deion cares that I went to Colorado. Frankly, I don't know that he cares about me at all right now. But I need to try and find a way to get out there for that. And if it means, I know you're offering a ride. Like, there are airports there I could fly in. I'm not sure I would need your ride, but I would love to be there with you. But I might need to wear some other garb. Like, you can't ask me to wear Nebraska stuff that day. Just that day. Like, I will most of the year. But I don't know, frankly, how good that is for the Hail Varsity brand, to be honest with you. Like, hey, everyone, come out, check us out. Here's our co-host, Matt Schick, in the Colorado gear. I'm not sure that's good.
It's all right. I had family that never graduated from Colorado, but spent enough time there he could have 4 doctorates, and it was always just a ton of fun to go out there.
Well, it's funny you talk about that, because I was just talking about it this morning with my wife, who, when we were dating, I spent Thanksgiving with her in Lincoln with her family, and then the morning of the 01 game, we, with her dad and her brother and her, we drove out that morning to go to the game. And Kelly, my wife, was talking about it today, reflecting on it, like, oh, yeah, we wanted to go because it was like, yeah, it's just a stepping stone to playing for the national championship. Like, of course we're going to win. So they felt really confident about it. And, man, we had end zone seats right in front of the Dow Ward Center. And we were there when Chris Brown was scoring touchdowns, and I looked at her. She couldn't believe what was happening. I didn't know if we were going to stay together. I didn't know what was going on. And after the game ends, I will never forget it. After the game ends, we go down toward the field. We didn't go on the field, but we were just going down toward the the sideline area. And Colorado is there. And they see, and John Embry is the tight ends coach.
Yep.
This is before he was the failed head coach. He's the tight ends coach there. And he looks at my wife, my girlfriend, and the parents, and can see them in red. Looks at them and looks off in the distance and says, "It's going to be a long trip back down I-80." and my wife has never forgiven John Embry for those words. I think he's paid the price for being fired by that school. But yes, we were reflecting on that trip back in 2001, and she has never been back. I don't think she wants to go back, and I don't think there are a lot of Husker fans who do want to go back.
The last kicker I can throw in to seal this is he doesn't know it yet, but we'll stop in over at Barnett's place and he'll put some ribs on the smoker for us.
There you go. That's what you got to do. I would love that. That would be great.
He does a rib off every summer. I've promised cases of Corona, so maybe I just got to move that up. We are bringing cases of Corona to Barney's house. The showdown, the 9th of September, Nebraska, Colorado. Matt Schick, we're not done with you. More with Matt Schick on the way. Next segment, reminder to get buckled up, hands on the wheel, eyes and minds straight ahead. The driver has one job, to buckle up. A message from the Nebraska Department of Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm the conservation coach. We're on the road promoting Lower Platte South NRD's forestry programs. Did you know they sell seedlings to landowners? They've got low-cost options for less than $1 each. That's less than a cup of lemonade. You can buy seedlings online November through March. And check out cost sharing on bigger trees for civic groups who need lots. Get your baby trees and pick the forestry program that's right for you at lpsnrd.org.
Hello, neighbor. It is Animal for Super C convenience stores. This time of year, it's kind of hard to keep your vehicle clean, so visit any of Super C's 3 car wash locations. You'll always get 10 cents off a gallon when you purchase a soft touch car wash. And who couldn't use that? For a limited time, buy one, get one free on all car washes at 70th and Pioneers. That's a deal! Plus, get hot snacks, cool drinks from your locally owned Super C, where they're always happy to see you. Oh, and don't forget the ice.
You got your very own handyman to help remodel your home.
You won't find many open water parks in December, but wouldn't it be sweet if you could escape to your private year-round water park in your home?
Think of Handyman Home Remodeling Center as your water park shopping mall.
We don't sell water slides or diving boards.
But we do have bubbling bathtubs and rainforest showers, where at the end of a grueling day, you can relieve stress and decompress.
Try before you buy. Step into one of our many bathtubs. Run the water in our showers. Turn on one of our stylish faucets and feel the warm water against your skin.
Remodel your bathroom with Handyman. And one day soon, you'll slide into your new soaker tub, close your eyes, and think you're floating down a lazy river in summer. For the very best in home water parks, bathrooms, come to Handyman.
Under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln.
Handyman.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After redshirting his first year at Ohio State, Joe Burrow spent the next 2 years as JT Barrett's backup. With Dwayne Haskins on the roster, Burrow didn't see much playing time and decided to transfer. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron zeroed in on Burrow and landed him. In his second season at LSU, Burrow led the Tigers to a 15-0 record, a national championship, and arguably the best season ever by a college quarterback.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
You know that feeling when your football team adds that one player with every skill they've been looking for?
It's time your business knew how it felt too. LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 850 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to the most qualified candidates so you can start hiring the right people. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Matt Schick's with us, ESPNU, of course, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Schick and Nick Show, at Schick on Twitter and at ESPN_Schick. Matt, real playoff and the seedings, thoughts? I'm glad TCU got in, but how about Georgia landing Ohio State out of the gate?
It reminds me of 2017 when Clemson was number one. Bama loses its rivalry game at the end of the season in the Iron Bowl to Auburn in the kick six, and then they back their way into the playoff as a one-loss team because Wisconsin lost to Ohio State the Big Ten championship game. That opened the door for Bama. Bama thumps Clemson as the 4 seed and goes on to win the national championship. I'm not saying that's what Ohio State's going to do. I am saying that when you're the 1 seed in this 4-team system, you don't get a lot of rewards. I mean, you should be. I would love to be in a system where you can pick your team. The number 1 team gets to pick its opponent. Who are you picking? I guarantee you it's not Ohio State. A motivated Ohio State, an Ohio State team that's still licking its wounds. The scars have yet to even heal, and now they're getting back into battle. That's going to be an outstanding game. Just from the neck up of just seeing how motivated Ohio State is, the new lease on life. The seeds were fine. The seeds were probably exactly as they should be. But if you're asking Georgia who they would rather play, they would have made TCU the 4 without question.
Matt, on December 31st, those games are going to be played, and I have a wedding to attend. I texted the groom last night, and he informed me that there was not going to be any college football playoff on the television. Am I a bad person if I don't show up to watch college football playoff?
No, that's fine. I was glad you said it wasn't your wedding and you were considering. You were second guessing. It's your buddies. That's good. I texted the groom, a.k.a. myself. I texted. We'll just call this groom. No, I get it. And, this is really unfortunate about things and the timing of things. First of all, the wedding is New Year's Eve?
Yes.
That's a big problem. Hey, we've got your New Year's Eve plans. It's at my wedding. That's a huge problem for me. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, when football is. Are you in the wedding? You're not in the wedding.
I'm not in the wedding. There was a potential reach out to me to MC the reception, and I said no.
You're not going. Okay, you're watching football.
Okay, yeah. So you were on the cusp. You're essentially an usher in the wedding without being an usher. Like that's not in the party, the MC, usher, that's all the same thing. Yeah, I would not fault you for not going. I would double the gift, though. I would double it. Because, frankly, if you show up, you're one more head they got to pay for at the dinner. Dinners are about $50, $30 to $50 a head. So you're saving them money on the front end. Plus, when the wedding happens, they don't care if you're there. You're just a warm body who's there to give a gift. So you might as well just send the gift and go watch your football. Everyone's happy.
Matt Schick with us. We started with Prime. We'll end with Prime. He is going to do what in year 1? Do you have a win-loss projection? I know the roster thing's kind of important, which is in flux, but what can he do in year 1?
I think he can get to a bowl game. I think he can get to a bowl game. This was a team this year that could have, this is going to sound awful. They could have conceivably won 3 games. It sounds terrible to even have to say that. But there's going to be an influx of talent here. The concern I have is we saw it work. We saw it not work at Nebraska with 15 transfers coming in. What's it going to be like when there are 30 at Colorado? So I don't know how that works in 1 year. But I think the talent is going to be a substantial upgrade, and the Pac-12 is such that you could work your way into the top 6 of that conference with just, good coaching and bringing in talent. So I would say that's conceivable. Anything more than 5 or 6 wins, I think, is fairly outlandish. But I think Prime plus the portal is a pretty good tonic. And without the portal, we'd be having a very different conversation. But he's coming at a good time.
Matt Schick's with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. And Matt, I know we said last thought there, but I got one more quick thing. It's been stuck in my craw all weekend. Halftime of the SEC title game. I think you know where I'm going. There was controversy in that Dr. Pepper halftime challenge. Explain to me the rationale behind having a tiebreaker that occurs the day before, not going to double overtime. It seemed very American of the Dr. Pepper halftime challenge to not play until there's a winner.
Totally get it, and I'm glad you brought it up. So on Friday, as a Dr. Pepper employee, this does not put me in a tough spot at all. So on the day before these conference championship games, so let me walk you through it. On Friday here in Charlotte, they have a walkthrough. So us athletes have our walkthroughs the day before the game, and so we go out on the field, and they have the cans set up. They have the whole thing set up, but they have like 8 contestants, 6 or 8 contestants that are competing. And there's no crowd except the people and the employees, and everyone's watching, cheering them on. And that score dictates whether or not they get to do it on Saturday night. So the top 2 compete Saturday in the Dr. Pepper Challenge. That score that they get on Friday is also used as the tiebreaker. It's like in Wheel of Fortune when they say, hey, we drew numbers to see who start the game, and Billy, you spin the wheel first. That's kind of how that happens. You didn't see them pick numbers before the game started, Wheel of Fortune, but you understand this is it. The problem is no one saw it. No one was aware. And we know the rules. If it's tied, you go to a 15-second tiebreaker. And if it's tied after that, then whoever won it on Friday wins. Well, you get some liquor and alcohol and 70,000 people at a stadium, and they're told about rules of something that they did not know about, and they want to see a winner. There's no ties in college football, and so there can't be ties in the Dr. Pepper thing. So they did it right and gave them both the scholarship or the $100,000. I will tell you, when I showed up Saturday in Charlotte, it was the first thing they told me. They said, I'm not sure if you heard what happened in Atlanta, but if it happens, we'll do the same thing here. I'm like, I got you, buddy. I understand it, and we'll figure it out. So it was a lot of controversy, but I'm glad Dr. Pepper handled it the right way. And it was the first time for everything. I'm glad it wasn't me getting booed. I would have been very self-conscious as the MC of that, getting booed by those in Charlotte. I was glad that happened in Atlanta.
Quickly, Matt, just something to run up the wire. I think if it happens in the future, change the overtime rules, back up to 15 yards, sudden death, first person to get it in the bucket wins.
Yeah, here's the problem. You back it up to 15, and then at that point, you're like, okay, what happened? Where Clemson and North Carolina have come out onto the field. We're still waiting for someone. They are lining up for the kickoff, and we still have these cans out here.
We wanted to kick off, but Schick is in the way.
That's right. That's all right. Hold on. This is a very, very intense carbonated contest, everyone. We'll be done as soon as possible.
Matt Schick with us. Matt, we'll talk again. Thanks again. And if we don't before, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to your family, bud.
You as well, guys. Talk to you soon.
Gotta love it, man. We went from Coach Prime to sharing a stage with Matt Schick and Deion Sanders to the Dr. Pepper contest to just a trip to Boulder. He may be a willing participant or not if we get him in Mike Babcock's Sherman Tech. We're going to talk with Babbers about that tomorrow. We're going to show up in an armored vehicle, not to scare, but just to protect ourselves. And you are Googling right now just what type of vehicles are options.
Well, no, I found a site that lets you rent bulletproof cars and armored vehicles.
Okay.
We're looking at...
What's the number?
You have to go more details in order to find it. Would you like the armored pit bull, the armored SWAT CUDA, the armored pit bull XL? Let's check out this armored CUDA.
Give me the Tatanka.
It's got a 4.5 liter V8, a 5-speed manual transmission.
You can't drive a stick.
I can, so we're good there. We're good there. Vinyl seats, so no leather. It comes with a power winch with up to 10,000
power
pounds
what?
of towing. A power winch. and as Matt said, with an extra tire. It comes with one spare in the back, just in case.
We're going to need 4.
And I like how it doesn't say total capacity for 8 people. It says total capacity for 8 personnel. So we
it's
do
like
have
it's a
room.
SWAT unit.
And power mirrors, if you were wondering. Also power mirrors.
Either that or we just got to get some used Colorado plates.
Well, no, get this. This is the best part. It comes with a public PA system. A public announcing system with a mic on the inside with big speakers on top, so you can talk to all the Colorado fans outside the car.
Uh-huh.
That's incredible.
Because that place isn't going to be tuned up at all.
This is
with Nebraska coming in.
I can't believe all the features this thing has for an armored vehicle. It's phenomenal.
Got to do it.
I know what I'm saving up for.
The power winch.
Well, I don't even know how much you need to save up. You have to call for price.
Yeah. We've got Jay Moore. We're good. We don't need a power winch or a PA system. We'll tell Jaybird to go sick Buff fan, and it's okay.
Hey, I'll warn you, Schmidt. I do know jiu-jitsu. Kind of.
Seriously?
Not
what belt are you? Is this a Kramer versus the 12-year-old situation?
I'll tell you,
Do you get the Seinfeld reference?
I have not advanced past the white belt, which is the first belt you receive before you have done really anything.
Do you get a white belt for walking in the door?
Yeah, you do. You get a white belt for walking in the door, and eventually you get up to blue belt, but you need to do some competitions first. I haven't done any competitions, but I could handle some drunk Colorado fans.
Are you kicking boards?
No. This is all. It's wrestling, but the wrestling of MMA.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Where you're putting people in chokeholds and arm bars and whatnot?
I watched MMA Saturday night.
Oh, did you? It was a good night of fights.
Uh-huh.
It was a good night of
that
fights.
dude that's just bleeding everywhere. He got pummeled on, but he wouldn't submit.
And then he really played it up to the fans? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. You watched MMA?
Well, it was on. I was at a watering hole with Coach Brett, and it was just unavoidable. We kind of got a kick out of it. One old boy got the old shin between the knees. Got absolutely rocked in his junk.
Oh, the family jewels, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that guy went down, and I'm still a 10-year-old where anytime you see someone take a shot like that, specifically if it isn't you, it's funny because it isn't you. And the guy, they replayed it where it's a slow motion kick, and the guy is there, and then you see the ultimate reaction where his face crumples, and he just drops to his knees and he starts rolling around, and then he's trying to crawl to the ropes.
So you got to come over for one of my my UFC watch parties that we have occasionally. You got to come over. I can get
just
15 people in my living room.
I mean, and you hear the sound effect of when they do the Dirk Diggler kick, right? Mm-hmm. And you just hear bone on bone is not good. But the shot to the Jewels was no good.
You can laugh at that.
But the aftermath was hilarious where he's trying to crawl. We'll dive into some basketball. What's Eddie Katz think of Nebraska and Coach Hoiberg? That's on the way with Hail Varsity.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, smile naturally. Perfect.
Cam's Photography knows wedding season ramps up in a flash. They need to say I do to a studio assistant before clients go full bridezilla.
I'm so sorry. I have to get a different lens. I'll be right back.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
'Twas the night before approval, and I heard all through the city. I want a nicer, newer car, but my credit, oh, what a pity. I wanted a truck, mama, an SUV, but maybe a car'd be more practical. We'll see. There arose such a noise on my radio. I knew right then I had to go see Approved by Joe. He asked, have you been turned down before? Still making payments on that old sled? Worried about getting Scrooged? Come here instead. With very quick work and very little pain, I heard Approved by Joe call them by name. On Chris, on Josh, on Sam, Don, and Lorenzo, on Andrea, on Kendall. Let's get these customers handled. When what to my wondering eyes did appear with $5 down, a credit approval, my dear. Joe wants your trade, he'll pay more than anyone, and his team won't quit until they get your deal done. With our For the People credit approval process, bring us $5, bring us your trade, we'll take out the stress. I heard him exclaim as I had the store in sight, happy approvals to all, and to all a nicer, newer ride. I'm Joe Clemens, and I'm your dealer for the people. Come see us at Capital City Automax or online at approvedbyjoe.com, approvedbyjoe.com, www.approvedbyjoe.com.
All terms subject to approval. Some minimum requirements. Ho, ho, ho.
Head to ESPNLincoln.com now and enter your chance to win a $25 Jet Splash Car Wash card. Jet Splash Car Wash gift cards make the perfect holiday gift for anyone on your list, and excellent stocking stuff. ESPNLincoln.com now and enter for your chance to win a $25 Jet Splash gift card, and head to jetsplash.com to see complete info on their locations, hours, memberships, and offers. Jet Splash Car Wash, Lincoln's premier spot for a spotless wash, online at jetsplash.com.
Why, yes, another morning and another day of Jet Splash's jaw-dropping holiday sale. Reginald.
Yes?
To Jet Splash we go. Marmaduke, Rutherford.
Yes?
To the car wash. Let us save $10 on a 5-pack of washes, or $73 on a 22-pack.
And get the best deals of the year on annual memberships too.
That's right, Frederick. Nutcrackers unite.
Yes, very good.
Off the mantle and to Jet Splash Car Wash we go.
Shop online too.
Chime in 402-466-ESPN or email the show, Chris at HailVarsity.com.
Just try me.
Back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back to you. It's Hail Varsity Radio. We're presented by Currency. Vic in Denver's not a fan of me admitting publicly I can't drive a stick. I learned on one. It was an 87 Mustang convertible, candy apple red. And that wasn't a good combination. I was a horrible driver, probably still am, but was more so as a teen. So mom and dad sold said Mustang, and I've not had to drive a stick shift since.
See,
I'm not saying I can't. I just haven't in like 100 years.
See, I learned stick on an old, I think it was a '67 Volkswagen Beetle.
You
Yellow.
damn hippie.
Yellow.
Should take that out to Boulder.
We no longer in our possession. My mom bought it on Craigslist one night, and then after a couple of years, it started going bad, and we said, "Well, let's sell this to whoever." And some guy drove all the way from Florida, all the way to Florida in the Volkswagen. He flew from Florida, and he drove all the way down the interstate. This old '67 Volkswagen Beetle. It wouldn't stop breaking down for us, but it was perfectly fine for him. So I learned on that. But then I really got my chops whenever I took a trip to Africa to visit some family members that were living in Mozambique.
So you were driving the Range Rover,
the old Range Rover, which is right-hand drive. So I'm on the right side, shifting on the left. Everything's backwards. Did
you hit an elephant or no?
No elephants were harmed in the process of me learning how to drive stick on the right-hand side of the road. I did stall it a couple times and almost flipped it, but other than that.
The gators were waiting. Reminder here, let's get folks up to date before we jump to Fred Hoiberg. Jaheim Bell, South Carolina tight end in the portal. Expect Nebraska to look at him. Western Michigan defensive lineman, 70 tackles, 7 sacks. It is Andre Carter. Nebraska out to him. So that is 10 portal offers for Nebraska. You'd like to know the future of Casey Thompson. Do you go quarterback? That's important. There's a couple of quarterbacks that are in the portal right now. You have Bryce Turner, the commit that's really good, that we talked to his high school head coach today, so check that out on the podcast. But Devin Leary, don't get him confused with Dennis Leary. Devin, the quarterback at NC State, he missed most of the year. You have Nathan Carter, the UConn running back that's been touched on with the connection to Barthel. Dorian Singer, wideout, Arizona. You have a guard from Wisconsin, Michael Furthy, Jeff Sims. Sims looked all right for Georgia Tech, and you wonder if Coach Miles lands in his defense coordinator can have fun with him. Adam True, the first to report, the National 24/7 Sports recruiting analyst, about Andre Carter, the defensive lineman.
The name to watch, I think, moving forward, it's all reliant on what Casey Thompson wants to do. NIL is a huge factor here with Casey Thompson. It's got to be. 3 years ago, I think Casey Thompson's probably already in the portal. If all the events that are happening today happened 3 years ago, pre-NIL, I think he's already in the portal or already declared for the draft. But that NIL factor is huge when you can look back and say, well, I can go another year at Nebraska where the fans seem to like me. They'll pay me to be here. And I can just go one more year and then go try my luck at the NFL. That's a huge factor. But if Casey Thompson were to leave, I think a name to watch, Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State, the quarterback.
That'd be great.
For a 3-year starter, I believe, for Oklahoma State, and played in some very big ball games.
Got knocked out this year.
But that's a name to watch. A lot of people are mentioning DJ. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name from Clemson.
Ugalele?
I think he actually did it pretty well there.
I did.
Yeah, no.
I've heard it said enough that I didn't try it on my own.
See, I'm not going to try it on my own here. I think that's more of a pipe dream for Nebraska, whereas Spencer Sanders seems like the guy that would want to take a step
He's
up.
regressed. He's regressed because he got his first career start and lost in a shootout at Notre Dame during COVID, right when Trevor Lawrence was out. He just has gone downhill, and then he lost his offensive coordinator to Virginia this year.
Well, I mean, where I think Nebraska needs to go is a place where a guy is looking to cash in on NIL opportunities. DJ is the guy that's going to try to, give one phenomenal year with a good roster and try to get himself a higher draft position, whereas Spencer Sanders is a guy at Oklahoma State that does not have the kind of NIL opportunities that Nebraska would have, or name a Power 5 school. So I think those are the type of guys you have to look at, the guys that have been good and the guys that are going to want to cash in for a year on NIL money just to set themselves up in case the whole NFL thing doesn't work out.
Let's dive into some Fred Hoiberg. Fred Ball will spend time with Andy Markowski tomorrow, get his take on Nebraska, Indiana. But this is Fred, what impressed him about the Creighton win on Sunday. They've done a good job of putting it behind them. Black shirt presentation and all by Trev. Nebraska super jacked about the win, but they got a tough stretch following the Creighton win.
The makeup of this team, last year we had a pretty good rhythm at the end of the season. But, for this team to go out there and control the tempo as well as they did in that building, that is not easy to do. And you have to make sure you get off to a good start to do that. But, just the poise that our guys played with, you have to be able to, handle that for 40 minutes. And I just give our guys a ton of credit for going out there, playing the right way, playing unselfishly, getting the ball in the right guy's hands and defending for 40 minutes.
More from Hoiberg here on Nebraska's response to the Creighton win. They've handled it like grown-ups.
People ask, well, how was the bus ride home? I'll say it, the guys fell asleep, and the coaches watched film. And it's been a group that's been very process-oriented, and that's one thing that's been really impressive. Obviously, there was a great celebration after that game, but they got over it quickly, and that's something that we really stressed. It was a huge win for our program to be able to go and get a win like that on the road. In state, I know how much games like that means to our fans. So to find a way to get that one. But again, you have to find a way to get over it quickly. If we had a week, absolutely. You go out, you give them a couple days and really enjoy it and then get back to work. But we didn't have that. We had 2 days, and then after Indiana, we got 2 days to prepare for a team that's playing maybe as well as any in the country right now with Purdue. So it's a heck of a stretch. So to be able to get that one, the importance of winning that game with the stretch that we have was so important, and it also was a confidence builder. When your guys know you can go on the road and beat a top 10 team like that, it's so important for your confidence, especially early in the year. We lost so many close ones early last year. If we win the Wisconsin and the Ohio State game early in the year, that might have been a completely different season a year ago, but it didn't happen, and it's past, we're past it now. But to get a game like that at this time of year is so important for the psyche of your guys.
He nailed it. He gets it. He's right. Psyche matters, and Nebraska too many times just missed the opportunity, either against a bye game or against a name program where they had chances to flip the season from a confidence standpoint and a poise standpoint, and they didn't do it. Do we have time to squeeze in Rolls? Yeah.
No. We're going to be
okay.
Just missed it.
We'll hear a little more from Fred Hoiberg. He talks about the team, their makeup, and guys buying into Rolls. What's this team's identity? It's stuff that it's off-season talking points a lot of times. I mean, it's one of the first few questions you come up with when you're trying to preview and handicap a team, football, baseball, basketball, whatever. What are they going to be really good at? What can they do? And how do they maximize? Well, buying into your role and having an identity or 1A, 1B. We'll wind down to Tuesday. Thanks for spending time. Hail Varsity continues as we're presented by Currency.
This is Jim Rome with Rome Report. Everybody knows the list of things that are inevitable, and everybody should know that some team gagging away a game to TB45 belongs right there on that list. Death, taxes, and an entire football team forgetting how to play football at the worst possible time. The Saints in control for most of the night, up 16-3 in the final 5 minutes of that game. I know everybody wants to fall over themselves, giving all the credit in the world to TB45, but the fact of the matter is, for basically 55 minutes of that game, that was one of his worst nights ever. He made 45 years old look 45 years old, except when he was raging and throwing tantrums, and then he made 45 years old look like 8 years old. Congrats on doing it again, but let's not act like he just won his 8th Lombardi. Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. And don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories. Plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, 877-ASK-DELL.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, neighbor. It is Animal for Super C Convenience Stores. They're locally owned, super friendly, and a place hot snacks and cool drinks. Got that road trip coming up. Get some road food. Soft touch car washes. They've got that. And super deals. Hey, special discounts for their loyalty programs. Ask about that at the counter. Each of their 10 locations set up to serve the individual neighborhood. And you know they've got grocery items, milk, bread, and so much more. Super C, my go. Make it yours. Super C, where they're always happy to see you. And don't forget the ice.
I'm weatherology meteorologist Ray Miller with your Capital City forecast. Clear tonight, 24 for the low temperature. Wednesday, sunny, high at 47. Thursday, areas of freezing rain, changing over to rain with a high at 40. That's the forecast on Lincoln's ESPN. Right now, it's 39.
Boys basketball Tuesday night. It's Blair taking on Waverly. I'm Jeff Moats. You can join me for the play-by-play. Coverage begins at 7:05 right here.
ESPN Lincoln, FM 1015 and 1480 AM. Miss us?
Come here, brother. Give me a hug. Bring it in for the real thing.
We're on call for you. Catch the podcast at HailVarsity.com, the ESPN Lincoln app, or download them on iTunes.
Saddle up, partner.
Back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time on Tuesday. Tomorrow's show, we're loaded up here. Evan Bland going to be with us. Mike Babcock will join us. And Andy Markowski. We do have Pirate Watch this week. Maybe Mike Leach tomorrow. Maybe Mike Leach Thursday. But, yeah, Pirate Watch, which is good.
See, whenever you just first say Pirate Watch, I think of much more sinister things than talking to to Mike Leach. So,
well, he gets to play a bowl game at Tampa where they have the big pirate ship.
Oh, that sounds like a great photo opportunity.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. He may be firing cannons off, man.
I'm sure he'd love that.
In his own wide receiver core, the way he's treated them all year.
Well, that should be a fun when they're playing Illinois.
I know.
Which stylistically,
can you imagine that halftime or the pregame? Which is talking anything but football, and then there's the pig farmer. He looks like the Orange Bowl mascot.
That's two of the best nicknames among college football coaches out there: the pig farmer and the pirate.
The pirate. You should go.
I'm trying to think of any other nicknames. I mean, PJ Flex, the used car salesman. That's about the only one I can think of.
Flex his own deal. He's the motivational speaker. Fred Hoiberg back to the ball game, and more on buy-in role-wise with this basketball team.
It's so important to buy into the role that you're given, and we've had guys throughout the course of the year, and it always takes a little bit of time before those get established. But for this point of the season, still being early, I'm very pleased with how guys have accepted that. And Juwan, you look at the efficiency he played with last game, and he goes out and he's 5 for 5, hits a big three. It was wide open. Those are the ones we want Juwan taking, not the contested ones. And for about a 4 or 5 minute stretch, he was just eating up the glass and seemed like he got every rebound that Sam was in there. And when you look at that, I think that's 7 in a row, if I'm not mistaken, winning the battle of the boards. And if you can do that consistently, you're going to give your team and you're going to give yourself a chance. And that's going to be important in Bloomington tomorrow night. We have to be able to compete on the glass. They've got such great length, and they're so physical. We have to make first contact. If not, it's going to be a long night.
Lastly, here from Fred, the identity portion of this basketball team. There's been buy-in, there's been grit, there's been poise, there's been toughness, but they're hanging their hat on defense. That's a 180 from the previous 3 teams.
We talked about that being our identity this year is going out every night. The ball's not always going to go through the hoop, and you have to find a way in games like that. What did we make 3 threes the other night? And it was Wilhelm, Sam, and Juwan. They were the ones that hit the threes. I mean, CJ and Casey get shut out from behind the line, and we still found a way to win. So to be able to grind it out, I think we outscored them by 30 in the paint, and you have to have that. So it is something that I'm really pleased with these guys. Emmanuel is bought in. You could argue that you look at Sam's stat line, you look at Derek's stat line, but what Emmanuel did to Nemhart in keeping him out of the paint, that kid has been living in the paint the first part of the season. So for a guy like Emmanuel to buy into that role every night, I think he had 4 or 6 points, 2 transition baskets, but to be able to take away their number one option and push their offense further up the floor, if Creighton's comfortable, they're impossible to stop. And just with Emmanuel's ability to be a ball hawk up there and take away and push the offense out is a huge luxury.
Big thanks to Mitch Sherman, Coach Robert Jones, Matt Schick. Talk to you tomorrow.